I believe I have a pretty decent physique. I'm 17, I have quite a bit of muscle mass. I bench 25 for 2, and yes, I'm decently lean. And although I've been working out since freshman year, like 14 to 15-ish, I wasn't really consistent until this summer. Like, I would work out for like 2 months, then take 6 months off. But now, since this summer, I've been consistent for 4 months and already seeing amazing strength gains and muscle and fat loss. So if you need an easy program that you can use to build muscle, this is the one for you. Section 1, the program. This is just going to be like a very long section where I just cover everything about the program. So first, let's discuss what type of split we are doing. Now, what characterizes a good split is basically sufficient volume and sufficient intensity, while not being like too fatiguing and time consuming, while hitting the same muscles frequently. 2 times frequency is like minimum, right? If you have a split where you're hitting each muscle group only one time a week, it's not a good split. You need the 2 times frequency. That's kind of like a baseline for a good split. You can go above that, maybe 3 times, even 4 times, but 2 times is the minimum. The best splits for this are upper, lower, and full body every other day. Now, you can choose either, but for me personally, I picked upper, lower. The reason being is because it's way less time consuming than training your full body. But honestly, that's the only reason. If you do prefer to do up like full body every other day, then do it, right? If you have the time to. But if you're on like a time constraint, I would suggest just splitting it up into 2 days of upper and lower. You can pick either one, but since I do upper and lower, I'm going to be focusing more on that type of programming. So if you did choose full body every other day, I have a link down below to Google Doc, and it has an example routine, but still watch the video to understand things like volume and how to train. And I also have a sample routine of a upper lower split as well in that same doc. So after this video, if you're an upper lower type of guy, you should also check that out to get a general idea on how to structure your programming. So the upper lower split is a split that splits your body in half, right? So one day you do all the muscles in the upper half of your body. Then the other day, every lower muscle group. So it's upper lower rest, upper lower rest, rest. It's a 4-day split which satisfies hitting the same muscle group 2 times a week for optimal hypertrophy. The split seems like a lot, but it will take you maybe an hour, hour and a half if you're really focused and you're not dilly-dallying on Clash, losing like 300 trophies in 30 minutes. I don't even know how that's possible, and I'm hard stuck in Dragon Spa. Please, someone help me. Please, someone get me past Royale. So volume is the 3rd most important thing to do in a program. If your volume is all fucked up, you either not do enough to get stimulus, or you do too much and fatigue yourself too much, which can affect later sessions, I'm so used to saying sessions, which stops you from progressing. So how do we find a sweet spot of volume? Well, it's easy. You don't have to do 12 sets, not even 4. I find 2 to 3 hard sets, not including warm-up sets, which I'll get into, right? But not including warm-up sets, 2 to 3 sets for each exercise I found to be the best. Isolation or compound, it doesn't really matter. 2 to 3 sets, and only go up from this range if you believe you can recover from doing another one. But honestly, after 2 to 3 really hard sets, a 4th one isn't going to do much, right? You might get like 2 or 3 reps, but who really cares, right? So my best bet is just to stay at 2 to 3 really, really hard sets. That's your volume. That's all your volume is, 2 to 3 sets each exercise. Now that we have that out of the way, let's do a warm-up set, kind of one-on-one. So a warm-up set, basically wake up your muscles so they can produce the force in order to efficiently and actually effectively lift your working set, right? Because let's say like your working set is like 225, yes, because that's my working set now, right? You're on bench, 225 is your working set, right? You won't start with 225, right? Because your muscles aren't warmed up. They're not waked up. I don't know how to say it. They don't have the ability to produce that working set force yet, right? So you need to basically prime your brain real quick. So first what I like to do is I just like to do the bar, 12 sets, just get the form down. That's not really, wow, W voice crack, but that's not really a warm-up set for me. It's just to get my form down, like just to, get the blood flowing and stuff. But my first warm-up set would be a plate, right? That's probably like, I don't know, I have to calculate it, but I'll put it on the screen, right? That's like, you have to do like 60% of your max for not max, but your working set for, I don't know, maybe like 10 reps, and then you go on and maybe put on 75, and then you do 8 reps. And if you want another one, if you want to like really dial in, get your muscles warm, you can do 85% of your working weight, and then you just do, you know, 3 reps, boom, boom, boom. So you just did 3 warm-up sets. Now you're primed to do your working set. And they might say this fatigues you, but it really doesn't, right? Because the weight isn't basically big enough for you to actually get fatigued. All it's really doing is just priming your nervous system to handle the force that you need and actually produce the force that you need to do, like, you know, your working set. So for me, I'll do like a plate, then I'll do like 165, and if I'm not really feeling it, I'll do like 185 for 3, and then I go on and do like 225, right? Or not 185, because I bench 225 now, so I maybe do 205 for 3, and then I'll go to 225 and do my set. And by the way, you don't have to do warm-up sets for every single exercise. So since bench would be my first chest exercise, I would have to warm that up first. Since pull-ups is my first back exercise, I would have to warm up pull-ups first. But if I'm doing like a row after pull-ups, I don't have to warm up really because my back is already warmed up. If I have to do, I don't know, like a chest fly for chest, I don't have to warm up my chest anymore because it's already warmed up from the bench, right? If I'm doing shoulder presses, right? Shoulder press, I don't have to warm it up anymore because the bench kind of warms up my shoulders already. So only do this process when you have exercises that you basically, like, what's it called? These are like the first exercises you've ever done for that specific muscle group. And every other kind of like exercise that hits that muscle group, you don't have to do a warm-up set anymore. You can have the volume, but if you don't have the intensity, if you're not training hard, none of that shit matters. So for intensity, what you're going to do is just go to absolute failure on every set. But no, 1 to 2 RIR is better, bro. Trust me, I read a PubMed study. I don't care. Shut up, bro. Look at me. I don't care. We know mechanical tension builds muscle, so why not just go to failure every set to maximize it? It sounds logical to me, right? It's been working, so I don't care about the 1 to 2 RIR shit. I don't care about having, like, you know, a mouthpiece for better, I don't know, force production, whatever these guys do. Like, whatever they do, bro, I don't care. I'm not too into that shit. I don't care about the Keenan flaps, you know. I don't care about the fucking D handle, this shit. I don't care about any of that. All I know is that mechanical tension builds muscle, so why not just go to failure every set to maximize it? That sounds pretty logical to me, and it's been working, so I don't care about the 1 to 2 RIR, right? I don't care about the PubMed study that Jeff Nippard or Mike Israel reads and preaches and dick rides. I'm doing it till failure. And plus, most of the times, you can't even tell if you're doing 1 to 2 RIR in the tank, right? So just go until you can't do it anymore. And I promise you, it's not that fatiguing. I've been progressing a lot, doing 2 to 3 sets of each exercise to failure. And the reason why is because I do low reps, heavy weight, in between to 2 to 8 reps. Obviously, if you're doing 5 sets of 20 reps to failure, no shit, you're going to feel fatigued, right? You have so much lactic acid built up in you that you can nut it out now. Obviously, you're going to be fatigued, right? Because you're doing high volume and high intensity at the same time. Low volume and high intensity is the way for you not to feel fatigued when going to failure. It's that simple. Trust me, you'll be fine, right? Heavy weight, low reps, you'll be fine. You're not going to get joint pain. You're not going to get this. You're not going to get that. You're not going to fucking die, all right? I'm telling you, it's good. It's a good way to train, and trust me, it's very enjoyable. That's a perfect segue into the most important thing about the program, which is progression. Progressive overload, we all know it, we all love it. To tell if a split is working, you look to see if you're consistently progressively overloading. If you're not, then it's a shit split. And if you do, it's an amazing split. So the best progressive overload protocol that I've been doing is basically you pick your 2 rep max. For me, it's 225. You already know the vibes. For an exercise, so like for bench 225, yes, I'm going to keep on spamming it, right? And now, basically, you do that exercise until you're able to reach 8 reps to failure. So when you do 8 reps, you fail. right? This is going to be like your maximum rep range. Now that you reach failure doing 8 reps, now you add 10 pounds to your previous weight next session, which would be 5 pounds on each side. For example, I bench 225, and I'm going to say this for the rest of my life. But anyways, I bench 225 for 2, right? So I will keep benching 225 until I reach failure doing 8 reps. Then when I reach that upper echelon rep range, I will increase the weight by 10. So next session, I will do 235 for, let's say, 2 or 3. And then I'll stick to 235 until I can do it for 8 again. And then I repeat the process. And this works. This basically, you're going to be doing this, not works, but you're going to be doing this with every single exercise: dips, pull-ups, bicep curls, rows, incline bench, right? You're going to be doing this process with all of these movements that you're going to pick. So we have volume, intensity, and progression. This is the basis. Now it's time to pick the exercises. Now look at me. Let me put my hand on your shoulder, all right? Exercise selection means jack shit, okay? There's no such thing as a universally better exercise than another. The better exercise is the one you enjoy more, because that's the one you'll be able to progress in and get stronger at. And it'll be easier for you to actually want to do it. But a rule you have to follow is 1 to 4 exercises each muscle group. For bigger muscle groups like back, you might need 4, like a pull-up, a row, not a pull, but just a pull, so like lateral lat pull-downs and pull-ups, a row, a shrug, and an extension, because there's multiple parts of the back that basically get hit in different ways. So you need multiple exercises to hit the back efficiently. Because if you're only doing a pull-up, right, you're not doing the row to get the back thickness, or the shrugs to get the, the traps and stuff, or like the back extensions to really get your lower back popping, right? So if you're only doing one of them, you're not going to hit the entire back. But for stuff like, biceps, right, you only need 1 exercise, really. You don't need 3 exercises for biceps. So if you just have an exercise that bends your elbow like this, you'll be good. That can be, dumbbell curls, easy bar curls, which is my favorite, spider curls, preacher curls. But again, some exercises that have multiple parts within the muscle, like chest having upper and lower, or back having traps, lats, lower back, or shoulders having front, lateral, and rear, and triceps having the long and medial heads. In the program, you're going to have different exercises for the different types of muscle groups. Not muscle groups, but the different parts of the muscle. Because yes, the chest is one muscle group, but it has different parts as the upper, lower. Yes, the shoulder is one muscle group, but it has different parts as the front, the lateral, and the rear delt. And I already said back, so you get what I'm saying. The muscle groups with multiple parts within that muscle, you must pick an exercise that hits each part of that muscle group. But for biceps, which is probably the only one that doesn't really have multiple parts, right? Or if it does, the multiple parts of the muscle just does the same action, you don't really have to have multiple exercises for that. And also, don't forget about the small muscles like forearms and abs, right? Those are like the little details that you need to really make your physique stand out from the rest. You just treat them as if they were any other muscle group, right? So 2 to 3 reps to failure in the 2 to 8 rep range. So your upper day would look like this: 2 chest exercises, 1 that hits the lower chest and 1 that hits the upper. Then 3 to 4 back exercises, 1 that's a pulling motion like a lat pull down or a pull up, 1 that's a roll, and 1 that's a shrug and maybe an extension. You don't really need an extension, but if you really do, an extension, that can be back extensions or deadlifts / RDOs, which you can say for lower day anyways. Then 2 tricep exercises, 1 overhead and 1 pushing down. You can either split them up, like 1 upper day you do the overhead extension, then the other you do the push down, but make sure you have both in your program. 1 bicep exercise, 1 brachialis / forearm exercise, and then 2 ab exercises, 1 for upper and 1 for lower. And again, you can split these up. 1 session you do upper and another you do lower, or you can hit them both at the same time. But this is literally it. Now for lower, the same process applies. 1 to 2 exercises for every muscle group. So 1 for hamstrings, 2 exercises for quads, and this is a special case, right? 1 quad exercise has to be leg extension, because it's the only exercise that allows you to hit a certain muscle in the quad that no other one can do. But for the second one, you can pick whatever: barbell back squat, Bulgarian split squats, leg press. It really doesn't matter, but you have to pick leg extension for your second exercise. Then you have one glute, one for abductors, one for calves. And on leg days, make sure to do neck exercises as well, especially if you have a baby pencil neck, right? I don't got a pencil neck, but if you have like a pencil neck like these, you got to do the neck exercises, and so you don't end up like Charlie Kirk, you know. And that's basically it. So that was like 15 minutes of me just chatting. So let me just recap everything. You can either do upper, lower, or full body every other day. So full body rest, full body rest, full body rest, right? So you just do full body every other day, right? Or upper, lower. And upper, lower is a 4-day split. So upper, lower, rest, upper, lower, rest, rest. For volume, 2 to 3 sets each exercise, not counting warm-ups. For intensity, every set to absolute failure. And you progress by picking a weight you can do for 2 reps to failure, then building up that weight until you can do 8 till failure. And then after you can do your working weight for 8 reps to failure, add 10 pounds to the working weight and repeat the process. Exercise selection doesn't really matter, but for muscle groups with multiple parts of the muscle, you must pick an exercise that targets each part and make sure to do neck, right? That's it. And also make sure to do, you know, forearms and, you know, abs as well. Make sure to do those little detail muscles as well. And there's a Google Doc that has a sample program, which is literally just my program, so you can actually see how to put this into practice. If you don't know how to do an exercise in a sample program or don't know what it is, just look it up on YouTube. I'll probably have like links like for like exercises that are kind of like niche, I guess, kind of niche exercises or exercises people don't know how to do. I'll have like links like beside the exercises that you can just click on, and it will be a video on how to do it like perfectly, right? So that's all I have for you for today. I wish you luck on your journey. Peace.